MegaWash.
MegaWash. Psh, it's something that RVs need.
We settled in there. The guy came out, and here's what's unique about this location.
It has sensors because it doesn't want to rip anything off, your awnings or anything. So that's good.
Yes.
But the negative to the sensors.
And so they may want to do some retraining and rethinking of how they're allocating their employees on site there. Okay, today we're going to talk about a unique Harvest Host experience, something different than the wineries and the farms and the breweries, and that is MegaWash.
MegaWash. Psh, it's something that RVs need. They need to be washed.
Exactly, and it's a convenient location. It's located in Ashland, Virginia, just north of Richmond, right off I-95, convenient I-95.
There you go. Very convenient. So it's a Harvest Host, so we're going to talk about the stay and the experience. So let's jump on into the stay. How's that?
Yeah, so we had first booked our stay, and we actually had to make a little change in plans. So it was easy as just giving them a call up saying, hey, our plans changed. Can you push us? And they did it within 2 minutes. We had a change email.
Very, very impressive.
So it was a great start to the experience. So we arrived in the afternoon.
I jumped out of the rig like I normally do. Where do we park? We're here for a Harvest Host. They said, do you want to wash? We said, no, we're going to do that tomorrow morning before we leave. So where do we park? And they told us where to park. And
yes, so they say they can accommodate 2 rigs. The place that they sent us to is sort of towards the exit, a hashed off area. I'm not sure you'd fit 2 larger rigs there, but they do have other space where you can disconnect tow vehicles as you're entering and etc.
Right.
So they probably could fit even more than 2. So we settled in there. The guy came out, and here's what's unique about this location. It has a 30 amp electric hooked up, although it is on the wrong side of the rig, so you've got to have a little bit longer extension.
Right.
And they have a dump station and water fill in the RV storage area.
RV storage. So if you have to fly out for an emergency or a family get together, this is a place to store your rig.
Yes, so always good to know. Always good to know. We declined the offer because we're used to dry camping.
Boondocking we are.
Which I think he's a little, sad about. But,
yeah, well.
So you can take advantage of that. I will say on the downsides of the stay, it is very well lit. It is near a busy road, and
it's a wash. So people are vacuuming out their vehicles and everything. So you got those, and they're kind of close.
Yeah, and there's a 24-hour aspect of it, although it was fairly quiet between the hours of 11 and maybe 6-ish, something like that. So it ended up being fine.
So what do you think? What would be your cup score for the stay?
Yeah, it's typical. It's a B.
Yeah, I'd say a B.
Yeah. I will say a little bit of a tip before we take a break. Oh, no, let's do it after we take a break. Sorry to tease you.
No, well.
All right, go ahead, hit that like button to share this video. It gets more views and viewers and helps our channel to grow.
Ring that bell so you'll know when we're putting up new videos. And visit our website, twobearstrekking.com. You can get connected to us in different ways through that site.
All right, sounds great. All right, so for the tip, and we didn't say this in our Harvest Host one-year review video. Check that out if you haven't watched it. But there are many places we stayed, probably 4 or 5, where I felt like you could have stayed there without a Harvest Host membership. And this is a good tip. If you see a farm market, like even this MegaWash or a winery, that's not part of Harvest Host, or, you don't belong to Harvest Host, so you don't know.
Right.
Just cold call them. Give them a shout and say, hey, we want to come through. Do you have the ability for someone to stay overnight? And you never know. It's a great way to find places to stay along the way.
The most they can say is no, but they could always say yes.
Exactly. All right, let's move along to the experience.
Absolutely. So we pull in, and there's a nice drop-off area if you have a tow vehicle or something.
Yes.
Totally separate from the vehicles that are coming through. So
now the large wash tunnel is 13.5-foot clearance, 60 feet long. So if you're towing a large fifth wheel, you can go through with both vehicle and rig, obviously.
Right.
Obviously, if you're towing, you need to have the tow vehicle to get through there.
Yes.
But you can kind of have both done at the same time. We downloaded the app, which if you're first timers and you sign up, you'll get a $25 credit, which is big because it's not inexpensive to do this.
No.
They do have two-tier pricing depending on your length, 30 feet and under, and then over 30 feet. We squeaked in just under, and he wasn't sure, and I'm like, trust me, I pull out the detailed specs if you need, because I don't want to go up to the next level.
No.
So for the under 30s, it's $49 for the basic wash. If you add on a bunch of things like hand wash,
under
wax,
rig wash, you can
do it for $62, and then minus that $25. So it wasn't bad.
No, for something needed to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of pre-prep, took our bikes off, folded the rack down, pulled into the tunnel. It's about a 15-minute experience.
Pretty quick. Now, it has sensors because it doesn't want to rip anything off, your awnings or anything. So that's good.
Yes.
But the negative to the sensors is it will push away from your rig, which means it might not get some of the nooks and crannies.
Yes. And they do have options. Do you want the brushes to go or not? We said yes. And we did have the extra hand wash, and they have a soft-sided, like almost a mop on a handle. And had done that because the idea is to get to those spots where the brushes aren't going to get to,
like on the tires or right behind the awning or something.
Yes. And I was a little bit disappointed in the time that they spent hand brushing, and that showed after the fact.
So it's a good experience because it's needed, but how would you rate it for the Cub score?
Again, a B. It was good, and the wax was good, and the rig looked
I'm going to go with a B minus. And the reason I'm going to go with a B minus is, especially if you get the hand wash, you shouldn't have to go over and redo detailing because they should take care of that.
Yes.
So that's the reason I'm dropping mine to a B minus.
And I will say, I think that is a reflection of the actual younger people who were working that tunnel that particular morning versus the people who manage and own. And I think that is the stark difference between the service level.
Right.
And so they may want to do some retraining and rethinking of how they're allocating their employees on site there.
Yeah.
Because I think the attention to detail we saw up front and the customer service we saw up front was different and a higher level than what we saw in the actual wash.
That's true. But would we do it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, I do think they're a little pricey if we were paying full price, but you don't find a dedicated RV type wash very often, especially in a convenient place. Usually you're competing with trucks. It was fairly easy in, easy out.
There you go.
And we get to stay overnight.
Bonus. So...
All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this content. If you're finding it helpful, share it.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and
keep on trekking.